The small alien ship floated silently through the empty black of space. Its lights flickered weakly, and the hum of its engines was irregular and low. Inside, the passengers sat in quiet fear. They were the Arval, a gentle species with pale skin that seemed to glow softly in the dim light of the cabin. Their bodies were thin, but their eyes held a deep intelligence and curiosity. Yet, now, they were tired and broken. Their home, in the distant star cluster, had been taken from them, and they had no place to go. Nira, a young scientist among the Arval, moved carefully down the narrow corridor. She checked on the injured and the sick, giving small doses of a healing serum she had made from their stored supplies. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from exhaustion. They had been traveling for months, hoping to find a place that would welcome them. Every star system they reached had turned them away. They were unwanted. The messages from other civilizations had been clear. You do not belong here. Leave, or face consequences. The words had grown louder, harsher. As time passed, that's not her. Now, Nira feared that her people would not survive much longer. The ship shuddered violently. A loud alarm rang through the cabin, making several Arval rise to their feet in alarm. Nira hurried to the control panel, her long fingers moving over the buttons with practiced speed. The sensors were picking up a faint signal. She squinted at the display. A human ship, she whispered to herself. It was the first time in months that any ship had approached them. The humans were strange to the Arval, but something about them seemed different. There was a kindness in the tone of their communications, a calm strength. Nira pressed the transmitter button, sending out a simple distress call. This is the Arval Transport Corven. We are damaged. We need help. Please respond. For a few tense moments, there was no reply. Then, a calm voice came through the speakers. We received your signal. This is Captain Aaron Blake of the Earth Rescue Vessel Horizon. We are on our way. Hold tight. The voice was firm, but it carried no judgment or fear. It was the first time anyone had spoken to the Arval without hate or suspicion. Nira let out a shaky breath. She returned to the cabin and began giving instructions to the others. Stay calm. The humans are coming. They will help us. Some of the Arval shook their heads. They had been betrayed too many times. Yet, slowly, hope began to grow. Hours later, the horizon appeared at the edge of the system. Its hull was bright and clean, a stark contrast to the battered Corven. The human ship moved closer, scanning the Arval vessel with gentle precision. Nira watched, her heart racing. When the docking lights aligned, a team of humans appeared on the screen. They were wearing simple uniforms, and their faces were calm but serious. Aaron Blake stepped forward. He was a tall man with short brown hair and clear blue eyes. We will bring you aboard, he said. We mean no harm. Nira nodded. She activated the docking procedure, and the ships locked together with a soft mechanical hiss. The humans boarded carefully, their hands raised slightly to show they carried no weapons. Nira met them at the entrance to the cabin, and for the first time in months, she felt a sense of relief. The humans moved through the cabin, helping the sick and injured onto stretchers. Linda Carter, the medical officer, knelt beside a young Arval child who was too weak to stand. She spoke softly, her voice gentle and calm. You're safe now, she said. We will take care of you. The child blinked, slowly, unsure, then allowed the human to lift it. Nira watched closely, feeling a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. Could they really be safe? Could anyone truly be kind in this galaxy? Aaron and Nira stepped aside, speaking quietly. Why did no one help you before? Aaron asked. His voice was calm, but there was a sharpness in his eyes. Nira shook her head. Other civilizations. They feared us. They feared our knowledge. our technology. They said we were dangerous. They said we would bring war, even though we have never fought. They cast us out. We have nowhere left to go. Aaron listened carefully. He understood a truth that few others seemed to grasp. Sometimes, fear blinded entire worlds. But fear could also be met with courage and reason. Not here, he said firmly. Not on Earth. You are welcome here. The Corvin was carefully towed into orbit around Earth Station. The Arvel marveled at the planet below, a swirl of blue oceans and green land. Many had never seen a planet up close, only distant stars and empty voids. Nira felt a strange warmth as she looked at the world. Perhaps, at last, her people had found a home. Inside the station, the Arvel were given basic quarters, soft beds, and clean water. The humans moved quickly but without haste, making sure everyone had what they needed. Nira walked through the halls, observing her people. Some were too tired to speak. Others whispered in their language, sharing memories of their lost home. Tears came easily. But they were not alone anymore. Linda Carter continued to check on the sick. She worked with careful precision, monitoring their vitals and giving them medicine. They are strong, she said to Nira one day. They just need time. Nira nodded. We are strong, she replied. We just need hope. The humans asked questions, not out of curiosity alone, but to understand the Arvel better. They wanted to learn how their technology worked, how their culture had survived under such hardship, and what they needed to heal. Nira was cautious at first, but she saw no signs of greed or fear. The humans wanted to help. Meanwhile, Aaron arranged for the rest of the Earth fleet to be on alert. He did not know if the forces that had cast the Arvel out would follow them here. He only knew that Earth would not turn away those in need. We will protect them, he told his officers. No one will force them out while we are here. Days passed, and the Arvel began to regain some strength. They ate regular meals, slept in comfortable beds, and started to trust the humans. Children ran through the halls, laughing softly, a sound that had been absent from their lives for too long. Nira walked among them, feeling a cautious hope growing in her chest. One evening, as the sun set over the Earth station, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Nira and Aaron stood together on a balcony. Do you think we will be safe here? Nira asked quietly. Aaron looked out at the horizon, thinking. We cannot control the whole galaxy, he said. But here, you will have a chance. That is all anyone can ask for. Nira nodded, her heart swelling. She had never imagined that humans could be so kind, so willing to help without asking for anything in return. Perhaps the galaxy had cast them out. But here on Earth, they were no longer alone. Perhaps here, they could begin again. As night fell, the stars appeared above them, bright and distant. The Arvel looked at them with wonder, thinking of the long journey that had brought them here. For the first time in months, they allowed themselves to dream. Dream of safety, of a home, and of a future that no longer belonged to fear. The first part of their new life had begun, and it was built not on fear or anger, but on hope. And for Nira and her people, hope was stronger than any exile, stronger than any enemy. For the first time, they truly felt that perhaps the universe could be kind. Life on Earth Station slowly became normal for the Arvel. For the first time in years, they had clean water, food that was easy to digest, and a place to sleep without fear. Children laughed and played in the common areas. Elder Arvel spoke quietly among themselves, sharing stories of their lost home. Yet even their voices carried less sorrow than before. Nira moved among them constantly, helping where she could, ensuring that everyone was adjusting. Humans were everywhere too. Doctors, engineers, and other helpers moved through the station with calm efficiency. Linda Carter continued to care for the sick, but she also taught the Arvel simple human habits. Washing, eating certain foods, even small exercises that would strengthen their bodies. Nira noticed that the humans were patient and never rushed her people. They listened when the Arval spoke, never judging their language or customs. It was strange, almost unreal, to be treated this way after so many rejections. Aaron Blake remained a constant presence. He visited often, not as a soldier or leader, but simply as someone who wanted to make sure the Arval were safe. He spoke with Nira about the ship, the journey, and what had forced them out of their home. "The galaxy can be cruel," he said quietly one afternoon. "But here, at least, you are allowed to live. That is what matters most, right now." Nira nodded, her mind still heavy with the memory of their flight. "We never asked for war," she said. "We only wanted to live and explore. But the core Dominion, they feared what we could do with our knowledge, so they cast us out." Aaron frowned. "I've read reports. They claimed you were dangerous, but there is no proof. Sometimes the powerful lie to protect their own interests." "Yes," Nira agreed. "They wanted the energy crystal from our home. We refused to use it as a weapon. They punished us for being peaceful. The humans didn't fully understand the crystal yet, but they trusted Nira and her people. Aaron decided to contact Earth scientists to study it carefully, hoping that the knowledge could be used to protect both humans and Arval from future threats. Meanwhile, the Arval began to explore the station. Small groups moved through corridors, marveling at human technology. Some were fascinated by communication devices, others by the systems that controlled energy and water. Children giggled as they touched things they had never seen before. Nira smiled quietly. Their curiosity reminded her of why she had chosen science as her path. Even in exile, the Arval were meant to learn and discover. One day, a small Arval boy named Liro approached Nira. "Why do humans help us?" he asked, his bright eyes full of innocence. "Other civilizations. They all wanted us gone. Why are they different?" Nira crouched to his level. "Because they see us as living beings, not as threats. They believe in helping others. Sometimes, the right thing is stronger than fear." Liro nodded slowly, as if trying to understand something much bigger than himself. Not all humans were on the station, of course. Messages came from other star systems, reminding Earth that the Arval were unwanted. Some warned that harboring them could bring trouble. Aaron read the messages carefully but did not respond to threats. Instead, he focused on preparation. Earth would not abandon those in need, and if others wished to challenge that, Earth would be ready. The Arval also began sharing knowledge. They taught humans about their energy systems, medicine, and communication methods. Nira was careful, giving only information that would help the Arval recover and not cause harm. Humans were grateful and respectful, asking questions but never pushing boundaries. For the first time, Nira felt that her people's knowledge could be a gift, not a source of fear. Not everything was easy. Some Arval struggled to sleep. Some feared leaving the quarters for fear of spies or attacks. Nira spent long hours speaking with them, reassuring them that Earth was different. She explained that humans had rules and laws, that there were people who would protect them, and that they did not need to hide anymore. Slowly, trust grew. One afternoon, Aaron came to speak with Nira. "We are expecting another group," he said. "Reports show more Arval ships in distress near the outer systems." Nira's heart sank. She had hoped that the worst of their flight was over. "How many?" "Several dozen," Aaron said. "It looks like the exile was bigger than we realized. Your people were forced from more worlds than we knew." Nira felt a surge of sadness and urgency. "We must help them," she said. "They cannot survive on their own." Aaron nodded. "We will. Earth will take them in, just as we took you." The arrival of new refugees brought both joy and challenges. The station quickly became crowded. Humans and Arvel worked together to build more living spaces, expanding rooms, creating common areas, and preparing for medical needs. Linda Carter worked tirelessly, her skills stretched, but her patience endless. She taught Nira and other Arvel how to administer medicine, how to monitor health, and how to care for children who were sick from the long journey. The Arvel began to form small communities within the station, families grouped together, sharing meals and memories. Elder Arvel taught children about their culture, their language, and their history. Nira watched the scenes with cautious hope. The Arvel were beginning to feel like a true people again, not just survivors. At the same time, Aaron and his officers began planning for defense. They did not know if the core Dominion would follow, but they understood the risk. If those who had cast the Arvel out chose to confront Earth, the station could be the first battlefield. Aaron did not want war, but he was prepared to protect those in his care. One evening, Nira and Aaron walked together along a quiet observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly around them, distant and bright. "Do you think they will come?" Nira asked quietly. "Perhaps," Aaron said. "But even if they do, we are ready. We cannot let your people be hurt again." Nira nodded. "We have learned to survive, but we did not know how to trust. Here, we are learning trust for the first time." Aaron smiled. "Then you are stronger than you realize. Trust can be more powerful than weapons or fleets." Life on the station became routine but meaningful. Arvel children went to learning areas. Humans taught simple skills, and communities formed. Even the wounded began to walk again. The laughter of children filled the halls, and stories were told of distant worlds, not just of loss, but of hope. One day, a small Arvel girl named Vela approached Nira. She held a drawing in her hands. "This is Earth," she said, "and this is us, safe here." Nira looked at the picture and saw simple lines and shapes, but the meaning was clear: safety, warmth, and belonging. Nira felt a lump in her throat. Perhaps, after so much pain, they were finally home. Meanwhile, Aaron received reports from Earth scientists. They were studying the energy crystal from the Arvel home systems. So far, it had not caused harm, and it might even provide a source of safe energy. Nira and her people explained carefully how it worked, what was dangerous, and what could be shared. The humans listened, learning with respect and care. By the end of the second month, the station was fully prepared for the next group of refugees. New arrivals were welcomed with food, care, and quiet words of reassurance. Nira walked among them, guiding them, explaining the routines, and helping them trust the humans. For the first time, she felt that her people might survive not only physically, but emotionally. Aaron watched her from a distance, understanding the significance of what was happening. The Arvel were not just being rescued. They were being given a chance to be themselves again, a chance to heal, to learn, and to live without fear. Earth had become more than a station. It had become a sanctuary, and though the galaxy beyond the station was still dangerous, though the core Dominion and others might still threaten them, Nira and the Arvel were beginning to understand that safety could exist even in a hostile universe. It was fragile and new, but it was real. The days passed, and the Arvel slowly found joy in small things. Children played with human toys. Adults shared food and stories, and Nira watched as smiles returned to faces that had been long blank with fear. For the first time, they began to believe in a future, not a distant hope, but a real, tangible future. Nira knew that challenges would come. She knew that not all civilizations would welcome them. But for now, for the first time in years, she allowed herself to hope. The Arvel were not alone. They were safe. They were alive. And in the halls of the station, humanity had shown them the one thing they had been denied for too long. Kindness, without conditions. And that kindness, Nira realized, could be stronger than any exile, stronger than fear, stronger than anything the galaxy had thrown at them before. Life on the station had grown more comfortable for the Arval, but a quiet unease still lingered. Messages from distant star systems reminded Earth that the Arval were unwanted. Some were warnings, some were threats. Aaron Blake read each carefully, but he did not respond with anger. Instead, he focused on preparation. If the core, Dominion, or other powers decided to follow, the Arval would be protected. Nira spent her days teaching the Arval children, helping the sick, and sharing knowledge with the humans. Yet, her thoughts often returned to their exile. How could so many civilizations have turned against them? Why had peace been punished? She realized that to survive fully, they needed answers. One morning, Nira gathered a small team of Arval and humans. They would investigate the reports of other Arval refugees in nearby star systems. Among the team were Aaron Blake, Linda Carter, and 2 Arval scientists, Rilo and Tessa. They boarded a small exploration vessel, and Nira felt the familiar fear of leaving the safety of the station. But determination burned in her chest. If they could understand the reason for their exile, they could prepare for the future. The vessel jumped into hyperspace, and for hours, silence filled the cabin. Outside, stars blurred into streaks of light. Nira watched, thinking of her home world, now lost to the core Dominion. "Do you think we will find answers?" she asked Rilo quietly. Rilo adjusted the controls. "We must. Otherwise, this exile will follow us forever. We cannot rebuild if we do not know the truth." They arrived at a small system where multiple Arval ships had been reported. The ships were damaged, abandoned, or drifting without life signs. The team's hearts sank. Nira felt a heavy weight in her chest. "They survived the journey," she whispered. But not much else. As they scanned the area, their instruments detected faint energy signals. Nira and the humans carefully followed them. Eventually, they found a hidden Arval ship, badly damaged but still holding life. Inside were a few survivors. They were weak and frightened, but alive. Linda Carter quickly moved to assist them, giving medicine and warmth. Nira knelt beside the survivors, feeling a mixture of relief and sorrow. "Where did you come from?" Nira asked softly. "One of the colonies near the core border," an elder Arval said. "We tried to hide, but they came. They said we were a threat because of our knowledge. They wanted the energy crystal. We could not fight them. We fled, but so many of our people were lost." Aaron's jaw tightened. "The core Dominion has been lying for years," he said. "They forced your people out to take what they wanted." Nira nodded. "We knew they feared our knowledge, but I did not know how far they would go. They destroyed homes, scattered families, and erased our place in the galaxy." Rilo added quietly, "If they continue like this, there will be no Arval left anywhere. We must stop them." The humans and Arval worked together to stabilize the survivors. They gave them food, medicine, and reassurance. Slowly, the survivors regained strength. They shared stories of the core Dominion's attacks, their tactics, and the lies that had turned the galaxy against them. Nira listened carefully, taking notes. She realized the exile had been deliberate, organized, and cruel. It was not random fear or misunderstanding. It was planned. When the survivors were ready, the team returned to Earth Station. News of their discoveries caused concern. The core Dominion had forced countless Arval into exile. Their plan had been to take the energy crystals from the Arval's home systems and eliminate anyone who refused to cooperate. The truth was worse than anyone had imagined. At the station, Nira met with Aaron and the Earth Council. "They want to erase us," she said. "Not because we are dangerous, but because we will not obey them. They want control, not peace. Aaron listened carefully. Then we must be ready. Earth cannot allow your people to be destroyed. We will help you rebuild, and if necessary, defend you. Linda Carter added, and we will continue to care for the sick, the weak, and the children. They must survive, no matter what comes. The Arvel survivors slowly adjusted to life on the station. They were weaker than the first group, more afraid, but they also brought stories and knowledge that strengthened the community. Nira worked to integrate them, teaching human language basics and station routines. Slowly, fear gave way to trust, though the shadow of the core dominion remained. Meanwhile, Aaron and his officers prepared defensive plans. Sensors were placed at the edges of the system. Small fleets were ready for rapid deployment. Earth did not want war, but if the core dominion attacked, they would not hesitate to protect the Arvel. Aaron spent long nights reviewing strategies, knowing that lives depended on careful preparation. One evening, Nira walked with Relo and Tessa through the station gardens. Humans had built green spaces to remind the Arvel of home worlds. Small flowers bloomed, and water flowed in gentle streams. The Arvel children played nearby, their laughter echoing softly. For a moment, Nira felt peace. "Do you think the core dominion will come?" Tessa asked quietly. "I do not know," Nira replied. "But if they do, we must be ready. We have allies now. We have Earth. And we have each other." Rilo nodded. "I never imagined humans could be so strong, yet so kind. Perhaps that is why we survived here. Perhaps they are our chance to continue." The days passed, and the Arvel and humans continued their work. They repaired ships, treated the sick, and studied the energy crystal. The crystal's properties were remarkable, a source of energy that could power entire systems safely if handled correctly. Nira carefully shared knowledge, teaching humans what could be used for protection and what was too dangerous to explore. One day, a human engineer named Daniel Harris approached Nira. "If the core dominion comes here," he said, "we can use the crystal defensively. It could protect the station without hurting anyone. Your people's knowledge is key." Nira thought for a moment. "Yes," she said, "but we must be careful. Knowledge is powerful, but also dangerous. We must teach responsibility, along with science." The first signs of anxiety appeared when a message arrived from the core dominion. It was brief, but clear. "Return the Arvel, or face consequences." Aaron read it aloud to the council. "They think we will surrender," he said. "They do not understand Earth. We do not abandon those in need." Nira listened, feeling a mixture of fear and resolve. Her people had survived exile, attacks, and starvation. Now, they would face the galaxy again, but this time with allies. "We will not run," she said quietly. Aaron looked at her, understanding the weight of her words. "Then, we prepare. But we also prepare for peace. We do not want war, but we will not let them harm anyone here." The Arvel trained quietly, learning basic defensive skills under human guidance. They were not warriors by nature, but they understood strategy and science. With Aaron and his officers' help, they learned how to use their knowledge to protect themselves, their children, and their new home. Nira spent long hours speaking with the elders of her people. They discussed how to rebuild, how to maintain culture, and how to survive in a galaxy that had turned against them. Slowly, plans emerged. The Arvel would remain on Earth territory for now, building a strong community, until a time came when they could reclaim their home safely. The children, unaware of the looming threat, continued to play and learn. Their laughter reminded everyone that life must go on, no matter the dangers beyond. Nira often watched them, feeling both sadness and hope. The galaxy had cast them out, but here, for the first time, They were free to grow, to learn, and to dream. As night fell over the station, Nira stood at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. She knew that danger would come. She knew that the core Dominion would not give up easily. But she also knew that humanity had shown her people a strength and kindness that no one had expected. For the first time, the Arvel felt they had a chance not just to survive, but to live. The first steps toward rebuilding their future had begun. With humans as allies, with knowledge shared, and with hope returning, the Arvel felt a small flame of courage. The galaxy had not been kind. But Earth had shown that even in darkness, light could exist. And Nira knew, deep in her heart, that light could grow strong enough to protect them all.